GM.
Hey, good morning there, gang mob, GM. I don't get why on YouTube we only have 181 sub. Me either, Mendoza. You guys are slacking, dude. I'm not paying for these things. Someone
Yeah,
me up the money.
We pushed to YouTube because like some people prefer YouTube, but honestly, the action's on X. That's usually the best. I won't say it's better than YouTube to watch it because you're watching live either way. But yeah, thanks for helping pump those numbers up.
We love you wherever you're watching. Okay, wherever you're at, we're here to meet you there. Hell, we might start streaming to Reddit, Drac. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we should totally take this to Reddit, see how it goes. But yeah, feeling a lot better today. We got to play Hosanna because it's been kind of green the last couple days. In classic fashion, 2 or 3 days ago, it was over. We were entering the bear market. It was over. Crypto's over. It's all finished. That was it. The bull market's done. Bear market's here. But miraculously, it seems like it was just a correction.
Miraculous. We got a green candle. Thank God. One green candle saved us from this.
Yeah, I felt like on Tuesday, I was saying this feels more like a correction and a lot of bad macro news at once. And the thing about bad news is it typically blows over a lot faster than, the entire market flipping bearish. So I figured that was more likely. I guess no guarantees, but considering that we, could have just been going down since Tuesday, I'll take it.
You know what I'm curious? We got to keep our eyes on this cloud. We haven't talked about the cloud in a while. Remember the Ichimoku cloud? The thing got circled down here in the bottom left. I remember that just like it was yesterday. Remember? You were like, we hit the cloud. We usually just run straight up through that bad boy.
Yeah, so you get a cloud. You get like what's called a E to E, edge to edge for you gooners out there. But typically it's like kind of a thing where it's like if it hits the cloud, there's a good chance that it's going to run from one side to the other. So part of why, you could kind of like signal the bear market last run when it finally entered the cloud. You could have flipped bullish like October 2023 or so when it entered the cloud. So, there's not like any indicator out there that's bulletproof, but I've just found that like Ichi on the weekly for Bitcoin, it's just not really gone wrong, in terms of you're just trying to get like the total sentiment of the market. And yeah, what you have down here when it flips from red to green, that's called a twist, which could also signal, rough times eventually, but it is lagging. So long story short, we've held support. We're still above the cloud. The cloud is still green. I don't think there's anything to worry about yet.
Bitcoin dominance, how's that looking right? It's like 69%, right?
Oh, I'm sure like I said, that's been the thing we've touched on with the Bitcoin dominance is, we're all just holding our breath, waiting for it to go below 60%. That's like the area where things finally started getting like kind of parabolic. But no matter what happens, you just can't seem to, it looks like we just kind of dipped. But yeah, we're almost at 62%, which is very high.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I noticed too, there was lots of chatter on the timeline that Bitcoin dominance is up. Bitcoin's kind of holding steady. What was it? What was that other little asset? Oh, Ethereum. Ethereum. Well, I guess Bitcoin is at its lowest since like ever or something at this point.
What, the Bitcoin Ethereum chart?
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't been
never been valued so low.
Those jokes kind of just keep piling up that, basically if you held Ethereum for the last 4 years or since 2020 or something, there has not been like that increase like you've had in Bitcoin. You're basically at the same price as you were in 2020 or whatever. File Zone says ETH is fading away. I think no matter what we do, Ethereum's not going anywhere. It's really important, like in some regards, but I feel like, what you're seeing is that as like a store of value or an asset, is it like still practical at this point where people use it for gas? There's tokens printing, the foundation's constantly selling. I just don't know if we're ever going to get there where it's like people can still compare Ethereum to like, if Bitcoin's gold, Ethereum silver. I don't know.
Yeah, I think a recurring thesis we've been bringing up on the show is whether or not, well, we haven't really expanded to is a bear market, bull market, are these terms even useful anymore? But this idea of like the cycle, or like will there be like an altcoin cycle? I think we're kind of seeing it kind of being proven true that this kind of thinking is kind of outdated, if it was ever even really correct. I'm not going to throw shade or whatever, but it's like the idea that, because traditionally when you talk to people in crypto, it'd be like Bitcoin run, Ethereum run, then altcoin run. Yeah. Now what we're seeing here is Ethereum ever going to run again? Probably not. Is Ethereum going to go away? I don't think so. Probably one of the more resilient networks in the world, right? Yeah. But it doesn't necessarily flow anymore. The idea that capital needs to flow from Bitcoin to Ethereum to these altcoins.
Yeah, and I mean that's
you're seeing that with Sonic's performance.
Yeah, we've been kicking this around for weeks or probably months. This idea that maybe there's not a bull market, bear market cycle anymore with the way things are. And there was a good post. I don't have it pulled up here, but it was a guy basically touching on this same idea that because of like the ETFs and institutional money and the way everything else going, are we like done with these cycles? And you could make a good point with Sonic that Sonic's been outperforming the market. And what the guy was saying is that there isn't so much going to be these Bitcoin to Ethereum to alt cycles. It's just going to be straight up about liquidity. You're going to have Bitcoin, and then you're going to have what attracts the most liquidity, period. And I think that's why you're seeing Sonic just like have like an interesting run and chart compared to like the other all L1s. Because I could see this going into the future. We're truly looking at Ethereum as like a base layer, not so much like a speculation thing, but an actual like being what it was supposed to be, just a base layer. And with all the L2s and all the L1s, you're just purely going to be looking at Bitcoin's always doing its thing. And then whoever is bringing the most liquidity and attention is who's going to have a good chart.
That's damn right, dude. It's the game is changing. The economy is evolving. The industry is evolving. And I think this also is going to necessitate tighter ranges in terms of volatility as well. And
I got something here that might actually prove this idea that we're just going to be forever up and down and not necessarily hyper bullish or bearish. It's been in front of your face the entire time. It was there. It was there the whole time. You just weren't looking.
Nice. Hey, look, we got a guy trying to bully his way onto our streamer sheet. Should I put him up? You want him up here now?
Yeah, toss him up.
All right, let's see.
Hey.
What's up, ladies?
Long time no see from the assistant.
Yeah. I'm about to head out to the Layer Zero office. Like they want to.
Okay. Humble brag. Yeah, I'm going to Layer Zero.
No. They just want to film some video, so I just jumped on right before I left.
Yeah, they filmed me on camera. It's not a big deal.
No big deal. The assistant.
No, Layer Zero guys.
The camera is going to be at the spaghetti, the same you see here. So don't worry.
Yeah. Appreciate you coming on with that tight filming schedule you got nowadays.
What I wanted to say was like I like to give like a little bit of insight from like, because I think what the foundation sees, like what Sonic Labs sees versus what the user sees is like totally different, because we don't like communicate everything to the community like every update, not like throughout the day, but like in the past week, like we've seen a lot of interest in like Asian. I'm sure maybe you guys have seen like your timeline is very, very Asian. A lot of Chinese tweets. I've been tweeting like some translated shitty Chinese. No, but we added someone to the team. So maybe we can get her on next week. Her name's Lisa.
Sure.
She's based out of Singapore. She's kind of just like trying out with us for the month. So far it's going really well. Has a lot of like deep connections, obviously speaks Mandarin, which is helpful. And then is in like the right time zone for like a lot of these Asian funds and family offices and stuff and applications. Like you guys have no idea, like these people are messaging us like in the middle of the night, because it's just like the nature of where they're located versus where we're located. So it gets kind of hard, but I think you'll start to see, I mean, tell me, have you guys seen a lot already? Like a lot of Chinese tweets?
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of it.
You haven't, Corval?
No, I don't get a lot of Chinese tweets. I'm out here posting Chinese tweets too. I don't know.
Actually, I should.
Like 25% Chinese Sonic tweets, bro. Seriously.
I was gonna say if I could pull up like my recent followers, it's like almost all of them. It's in Chinese or whatever.
That's like the most bullish thing ever to me, honestly. Like, because when I started the process of like trying to expand to Asia for us, it was simply out of necessity because I'm just tired. Like, we're just tired, and like by the time they start messaging us, it's just really late, and it's like, hey, we should just try and find someone who can like help us like manage the conversations. A lot of the exchanges are Chinese, like almost every single exchange is Chinese.
Yeah.
So like just the communication, language barrier and stuff. But I'm starting to see like, I don't want to like hype people up by saying this, but like people are kind of shifting away from Solana a lot. And I'm seeing it kind of come towards us, like the people, and I'm basing this off of the content that people are posting. So like, if I look at someone who's posting a lot of Sonic content, like we're not paying these people. Like it's not like a paid like campaign. I'm noticing that they're posting a lot about Solana. Like if I scroll back a month, it's all Sol. And now all of a sudden they've just like dropped Sol. So like that's a pretty good indication to me that not necessarily indicative of the price, but indicative of like the sentiment of what people are just looking for something else. And I think that's like the best position that you can be in, is that you find people that are like kind of basically it's like a rebound, right? Like we're like the rebound chain. It's like you kind of been bruised and battered on Solana. That's why it's true, right? Like
it is true. It's that a lot of these people, I do see exactly what you said, where it's like I go to the profile or they reply to me on something and I pull the profile, and you see a lot of that. It's still like, like they're talking about Solana,
but it's lingering, bro. It's like kind of just going away. It's like very thin. The content for Solana is extremely thin. Like, I'm not even kidding. My timeline used to be a solid 75% Sol, 25% Sonic. Even all the Sonic people that I follow, like it didn't matter. Like the algorithm was still just being dominated. But I think now, geographically it helps. So like right now the target is China, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Singapore, Korea, like Asia just in general. But I think like the next thing will probably pivot, and Luis is in here too. So Luis is probably going to start helping us with like Latin America. I think like Latin America is big. I think that you don't necessarily like, people kind of write off Latin America because maybe they're not larger transactions sizes. Yeah, I know you don't.
I don't write off Latin America.
But like people think that like, oh, they're like small, like the same thing with Africa, like, oh, they're like really small transaction sizes. It's not worth like the effort. Yeah. But the reality is that they just have volume of people. So like if you're able to like kind of tap into like Latin America, Africa, Asia, we haven't tapped into it before. Like we've tapped into everything else that we could do in the markets that we're currently in. So doing like a market expansion where we're just starting to explore different ethnicities and kind of like speak the language, I think it's working well for us so far with just a week of Asian presence.
Well, I mean, it's a good point, because when I first got into crypto, and I'll just show you this here, out of all these here, which one do you probably interact with the least and know the least about? And obviously that's number 5. And it's like when I first got into really got into crypto and started like kind of like building stuff, that was when I got like blown away by like seeing like just how many people used USDT on Tron. It was pretty much like if you weren't in the US or Europe, you used Tron at the time. And yeah, I mean, I think that these areas are valid. I mean, it's kind of like what crypto is all about, really, is, helping people that, are possibly unbanked or have a hard time trusting their own currency. Like I said, I was just totally floored when it was like, man, it's like everybody actually just uses Tron so they can send money around, and
people are sleeping. I mean, I will be in the like devil's advocate here. I will say that a lot of Tron stuff is bullshit. Like, but it is a fact that USDT on Tron is like, all right, I'm just going to give a hypothetical here. I might be wrong, but like I just saw before, like Russia, China are doing like going around sanctions by using stable coins to make payments with India and for oil and stuff. Like what stable coin do you think they're using? You know what I'm saying? Like they're using USDT on Tron, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm not a rocket scientist here, but that is just how that's just how it's done. So, I mean, the fact that they just have access to people, it's a cheap chain. It doesn't really need to have like a crazy DeFi presence. It just works for what it's for. Like, I think that appeals. A lot of Chinese people use Tron, bro. A lot.
Corval, you mashed that button the same time I did because I was trying to throw that up.
Yeah, we need to focus on the North Korean market here. They have big crypto bags.
I agree.
I don't want to encroach on Thor's business. Who knows what?
Boom.
They might respond.
I did see like when people were saying how like North Korea is like the biggest holder of ETH. Like they they can support like DeFi on Ethereum more than the Ethereum Foundation.
I mean, that's the move. Really, is you get some people on the inside of North Korea and you say, hey, you need to stake that ETH somewhere and make some money, guys.
I don't know why. I keep thinking about this staking shit. Like when you see I got to run in a minute, but like, what do you guys think about the ETFs accepting staking? Like, isn't that bearish? Like if everyone is staking, doesn't that kind of like take away from the point of staking?
Yeah. I mean, it's, I can see why like there would be people pushing for it, but I think that, yeah, in the situation in terms of like what would make sense for the ETF, I don't think I would accept staked ETH. But like I said, I'm sure that there's some pretty big bag holders that were pushing to make that happen.
I've heard a lot of people talk about like the centralization concerns, and I see this a lot of people talk about like BlackRock in general, where they're already scared. People get really scared when they talk about BlackRock like it's Lex Luthor's company or some shit, like that it controls like the world or whatever. So they're like worried that, you know, if one of these major funds were to accumulate a shit ton of ETH and stake it, they could have like control over the network. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but economically wise, yeah, I guess I can see that being a problem too. If everyone's just if it's such a large number of it is staked, what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's always been
80% staked. Like what happens? What happens if, like theoretically, I mean, someone can crunch the numbers, but if someone stakes all the North Korean ETH, what happens to the yield on ETH staking?
Yeah, no clue on that. That's got to
be Vitalik. We want to know.
All right, ladies. Well, it was nice catching up with you guys. It's a
See
nice
you later, spaghetti.
So talk to you soon. Don't forget the marinara.
Yeah, good luck at your photo shoot.
Spaghetti. We're gonna swap out the spaghetti for Leon Kennedy here in a second.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we're gonna start having Luis join us at least once a week on GMSONIC. Welcome.
Looking sharp, brother.
Dude, I heard Corval has like the swag, and someone had to let me know like you got to pull up on them. So I bought the shades, my nice jacket, gold chain peeking, you know, fresh haircut. How to get a haircut for this appearance? So
there you go, man.
You are looking fresh, dude. You got. I love this jacket, dude.
Thanks, dude.
The shades are killer. It's a good thing I wore this tie, or I would be completely outclassed. I was almost in my robe again, dude.
Yeah. If you were in the kimono, it would have been game over.
Oh, I had another kimono. You don't know. I had a more formal one. You know what I mean? Look like a samurai on stream.
Yeah, man.
I'm happy to be here.
Man. Excited to have you on. Excited for you to start joining us. So you're kind of looking into like Luis is probably going to be kind of like just like you know, he's really good at educating. He's really good at informing people. So we figured he should hop on every once in a while, show us some stuff that's going on around the network, give some alpha, all that good stuff. Yeah. So today you were probably going to chat about Magpie, weren't you?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that intro. You know, one of the things that I look back at my crypto journey, man, and it's always like, I don't know about you guys, but you know, YouTube, right? How do you do this? How do you swap? I remember for the longest time too, like bridging. What the heck is bridging? Like this token exists on this chain, etc. So like my whole premise, you know, and for those of you that don't know, like I'm part of the marketing team at Sonic Labs. My whole premise is just make it easier to use Sonic, and not that it's hard. It's just that people just need a constant reminder, right? Evergreen content to do certain actions. So yeah, man, that's pretty much what I've been doing for the last few months too. Now that you know we're fully live. You know, it's almost 3 months, and yeah, most of my content on my personal is just showcasing what you can do on Sonic. And yeah, today, man, we'll do some Magpie stuff, look at their boosts. Great team, man, and it's a great app.
Yeah, definitely, man. We're fans of them as well, and I think they're actually coming on next week. So they have a big public sale coming up.
Yeah, I had them on a space yesterday, man. They're really good, dude. They were part of the boom program. They got the gems. They've been building, man. They're obviously like chain agnostic, but they let us know like Sonic is home, and they're giving us a lot of like, or the community rather, incentives and things to do. So that's why I want to showcase today, man. But yeah, thanks for having me.
Hey, it's a pleasure having you,
dude. I met Drac. You know what's funny, real quick, man? I met Drac in a really dark bar. Where was it? Was it Austin? You remember that, Drac?
Yeah, I remember that.
I walked in, I'm like, wait, that's Drac. I said what's up to him. We were chilling for like 10 minutes and then we dipped. I met Corval out there as well at our barbecue event outside. We were just chilling, man. I just want to let people know, man. I met you guys. And like,
it was good. Barbecue was good. It was a fun time too.
Yeah, it was fitting. I was hiding in a dark bar and Corval was getting barbecue.
Dude, Drac looked like a mysterious guy just waiting to like for someone to come and finish a deal that they were talking about for the longest time ever.
Yeah, I had some arms deals and stuff I was wrapping up before I hit the conference. So some good bars out there.
We meet Dracula in public. He looks like a quest giver from a video game. You know what I mean? He's just doing an idle animation, just waiting for you to come up mass with 30 rumors in town.
That's right.
But yeah, dude, I guess we'll just get started. I'll share my screen, do some, short tutorial on some Magpie boosts.
Yeah, I'll toss it up.
Let's see right here. Let me share. All right, cool. All right,
here.
All right, let's pop this bad boy up here. How do you guys want to like? You want to keep this format, or you guys want to do the fun one? Let's do this one. Oh wait.
Oh, but it takes.
Oh yeah, whatever. Let's stick with the classic one. I'll throw a new one together later.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So typically, obviously this is Magpie. For those of you watching or watching later, obviously visit. You could go to their official Twitter to make sure official links. But this is the official link to their protocol app.magpie5.xyz. It automatically throws you into the swap feature, right? They just integrated a bunch of cross-chain swaps, so you could do, choose what chain. For instance, like if I have some USDC on base, I could go ahead and bridge that over to Sonic. Even you can see that some of the assets already hold. I could go straight into S. So this obviously really nice aggregator. They give you a really good price. So it's not as expensive as maybe some other aggregators, and it's actually very smooth. I really like. I was talking to Corval and Drac about this earlier. Like, I'm just a really big fan of good UX, and this is one of the apps that has a really good UX. Just want to emphasize that because it just feels good. I want to come back and use this protocol to do my bridging, etc. And then they have these boosts. So my understanding after talking with the team, because I was first a little bit confused. There's an eggs protocol, right, on Sonic right now. But then Magpie introduced, you collect these eggs by, completing these boosts, which we'll dive in right now. But these eggs are essentially just an internal point system on Magpie. You collect these eggs, you can see right here in the rewards. Every time you complete a booster, you collect these eggs, and essentially just accumulating internal points on Magpie. They also have like fragments. They're tokenizing their gems that they got allocated. So there's a lot of fun ways to take advantage of, not only points, but like all these apps, different tokenized gems that they got allocated from the Boom program. So this is essentially the boost dashboard. As you can see, like obviously you'll want to connect your wallet. If you haven't had any action, right, you'll just see whatever left to claim. This is how many eggs are left. Once this is fulfilled, there isn't eggs to accumulate. So actually, a few weeks back when they introduced the first round of boosts, I was trying to collect them, and I was like, "Yo, what happened to my eggs?" They're like, "Yo, dude, you're too late." I couldn't collect them, but
yeah, I remember that when they pushed that live. It was like they made the announcement, and then it was like I think it was within like hours or so where they were like, "Okay, all the eggs are gone."
It was gone. So I was like, "Yo, is something wrong on the app?" They're like, "No, bro, you're just late." I was like, "All right, I'll wait for the next round." So yeah, luckily we have some good amount of eggs to claim, and I kind of just want to go through it. And the beautiful thing about this, right, as an aggregator, you get to experience different protocols and different assets, and it makes it easier for you to kind of look at these here. As you can see, we got Euler. We got a Euler booster. You deposit into an SC/USD vault, right? It gives you 8% APY. You got Beats. We got their staked S, swap to staked S. You got Silo. You could deposit that staked S into staked S vaults. More Euler, and obviously some rings here, right? You got swap to SC ETH, or you could swap to SC USD. Each of them have different rewards and whatnot. I'll go ahead and show you guys. We'll probably just do this one, swap to STS. When you click on them, what I like about this as well, and I did this in a video in the past, is it makes it easier for you to understand what's going on. So obviously, here's the action. You're going to swap to staked S. A good call to action here. Your assets, what network, etc. But most of all is like, I'm more concerned. I want that egg, right? I want to earn this egg. How do I complete this boost? So they have a cool FAQ on the side. So to let us know how much of an asset do I need to deposit or swap, etc., to actually get that egg. In this case, to complete this boost, which can be done multiple times for rewards, you must swap at least 25 USD in value of any asset on the Sonic chain into STS. So we'll probably do this one, and as you can see, it's 25 USD. And then right here, there's partner rewards. You get 4x Sonic points for doing this. And then the Magpie fragments that I mentioned early, this is essentially right here, the Sonic gem allocation. So they're tokenized gems. But yeah, once I'm ready, obviously I'm going to hit the call to action. And it throws me back into their swap feature. And it's pretty much ready for me to go. As you can see, like since I'm going into STS, it'll already set up the actual swap for me. But then I get to choose whatever asset I have in my wallet. So if I go in here, I have some Shadow, I have STS already, Wrapped S, Sonic. So it tells me that in order for me to complete the actual boost, I need at least 25 USD value of some tokens. So in this case, I'll use Shadow. Since I have, I don't know, what is it, $34 worth of Shadow in this wallet. I'll use Shadow straight into STS. We'll go ahead and do the max.
Bro, 24, if you're watching this, just turn it off for a second.
I
Just
heard
look
you're
away.
giving out those free derps, man. I got to hit them up. We got to bug them about it. Cool. So then, all right, I think we're all ready to go. So look at earn 1 egg on this swap with boosts. I'm going to prove typical. You guys can see my wallet pop up, right? On that side.
No, it takes that. It keeps
Okay.
that down. But
Well, just for a reminder of those that can't watch or not able to watch this, you want to first approve the amount of Shadow. So you're approving the tokens. So 2 transactions. And then after it's approved, which we'll see right here, it's approving, you'll be able to swap. So now we swap. Just a good reminder, you know, when I was starting off too, I was like, yo, I just did the swap, but it was just an approval. Yeah, man, it's always good to remind. And there we go. I received 63.4 STS. If I go back to boosts, you see how my eggs accumulated. So I earned an egg. And then my cap down here used to be 99. It used to be 100, but I had 1 egg. And then now it's 98 because I already did it twice. So now I got 2 eggs. I have some STS, which is giving me 5% APY. I did this all through Magpie. So this is why it's so good, because I'm exposed to different protocols, right? I got Beats STS. I'm earning their APY, and I got some eggs, 4x points, and now I get some fragments from Magpie. So this is a beautiful thing, man. This is why I'm so bullish on Sonic, man. Like, obviously, I'm biased. I'm on the team, but overall, too, man, like, DeFi is happening here, and it's happening so seamlessly.
yeah, and I mean, this thing with the eggs, I mean, if you go to like just about any site on the network right now, all these rewards is like, to me, the crazy part is there's nowhere else where just all the dexes, you know, you're like doing swaps, but you're also like earning points for something for them, or you're earning gems for the Sonic airdrop. I mean, there's nothing like it out there where it's just like the incentives just constantly are being stacked. And I mean, it's like just to get rewarded like that just for doing swaps on an aggregator. I mean, I prefer to use an aggregator most of the time just because, you know, you're going to get the best price and everything else. But yeah, I mean, like what you were saying about the UI, I mean, that's what we were talking about before the show, was just that last run, it felt like there was still, people were still just kind of trying to push what they could do with, you know, Solidity and EVM and all that stuff. And everything's been like kind of done. Like people have pushed it pretty much to the limits. So I feel like this run, if we're going to call it a run or whatever, I feel like we're moving now to where it's more important to have like a really good user experience.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, I think crypto in general, like, it's always that argument, right? It's always the same people, the same money just being circulated around, right? And we always talk about quote unquote onboarding. I think people also need to experience new things, right? And this is being one. Aggregators make it easy for that, right? The goal is obviously, as you can see, the assistant came up here, right? We're tapping into like the Asian markets. We do need some fresh money. We need people to actually maximize their capital. If you notice, like, there was a big TikTok thing, right, with Solana memes a few months ago. Do you guys remember that? Where like a lot of the people were using TikTok to find contract addresses. That was cool. Like, from a perspective of like new entrants, that was cool. However, memes are in a weird position right now in terms of just the meta. DeFi is a little bit, we'll say, sophisticated in this case. If we could do something similar, like imagine going from a TikTok to a DeFi to like Magpie to get these eggs and APYs. Yeah. Man, like, people will feel a little bit more comfortable, you know? So yeah, I agree to that point, Drac. And the UX has a lot to do with that as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, that's, you know, it is kind of like almost refreshing really though, to see the shift from, you know, I usually put it like, okay, like, you know, when it comes to memes, like, you know, you got to have like good communities and good actual memes and like incentives and stuff going on. But at the end of the day, a lot of the times when you're buying a meme, you're basically just buying a lotto ticket. And, you know, I think like people are going to want to like return to DeFi. I mean, it's already showing that they are.
Yeah.
But you know, where it's safer things to do with your money than just, you know, saying this is either going to 0 or 1000x every single time.
Yeah.
So it's safer things to do with your money, you know, more practical things.
Yeah.
You know, I always tell people like, that's not to say don't buy memes or something. Like, of course, like we all do it, but it's like, you know, I view it more like, for the most part, you're more like hyper gambling. So you should probably just only allocate like a percent of your portfolio or whatever to having fun with memes or, you know, running perps or, you know, whatever.
Exactly. And dude, I got dragged not that like probably a month ago. I made a tweet about like at first I didn't like memes, and then I found like I had to accept the purpose of it, right?
Yeah.
But it's just like anything in the real world, man. There's casinos, you know. I could go drive 30 minutes to a casino, but there's also a bank, right? And you know, this is just for the case of examples. I could go to the casino if I'm feeling lucky. I might win some money, but I don't know. Or I could go park my money at a high yield savings account and for sure get 4% on it, right? So there's options. It's not saying that the casino they're done, right? You see the casino's always full. It's just knowing when
Casino's always open.
Exactly. So it's just knowing, and it takes a lot of self-awareness, which you know, it's arguable. We won't get into that, but
well, I think the meme meta, that was kind of like what was dangerous for a lot of people, and you see so many of those bad stories where it's like people like us or a lot of people watching this show probably came from, you know, they've already maybe been in for a couple years or a year. And I saw this with memes happen over and over again where somebody has like one good hit and now they think they're, you know, a trading genius. And you know, you see these horror stories on the timeline of like, you know, I had $3 million and I grinded it to nothing because, you know, they did nothing with their money except just, you know, keep trying to replicate that, you know, one-time hit. And I mean, yeah, it's just like gambling. I mean, you know what I mean? You're playing the slot machine. So yeah, like memes have their place, of course, but it's more like, yeah, you just need to be cautious about it, you know?
100%, 100%. But yeah, guys, I mean, thank you so much, man. I look forward to coming on. You know, for those you know, watching and watch later, like I'll be on, you know, as much as I can on Fridays, do some educational walkthroughs, man. You know, shoot the shit sometimes with these two right here.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate you guys, man.
Nah, man, we love it. And yeah, I mean, that's just like our number one thing is always like, you guys talked about this or you talked about that, but like, I don't know how to use it or what I'm doing. So we're trying to give everybody hear what you want, and, you know, couldn't be a better person to do it. So yeah, excited to have you on, brother.
Yeah. That's right. We brought on the best of the best for you guys.
Yep.
Give them a shout out in the chat, folks.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it, man. I'll see you guys next week.
We'll catch you next week.
All right, guys. Now, what's next, Drac?
Well, I already had the TVL pulled up because that's what I was kind of like going into here when assistant popped on. But I just wanted to say we did it. We passed Polygon. We passed Hyperliquid. We passed Polygon.
Plus the Polygon.
Yeah, too much caffeine. But that's exciting, of course. Now we're going to have to keep our eyes on Aptos. But something I wanted to point out was I'm also seeing basically a lot of people are starting to talk about like app revenue, not just like, you know, chain TVL. And there was a pretty good post here, Smart Money Detective, where what he was saying here is that currently Sonic is moving up the charts also on actual app revenue. So right now they are currently pulling in more app revenue than Arbitrum, Avalanche, or Sui, which are all, you know, pretty big earners in their own right. So what can you attest that to, of course, is if you're living under a rock, maybe you've not heard of Shadow, but Shadow is just absolutely raking in fees for holders. So this is a pretty impressive list right here. You know, Shadow is now like in contention with, first of all, Aerodrome, which is, I mean, that's huge. But I mean, yeah, look at this. I mean, you got Jupiter, Pancake Swap. You know, these are also just straight up chain revenue. So like Tron, Solana, Ethereum. So we're gaining here.
Yeah, it's incredible, dude. We're climbing the charts here. I think this is a good shift to so kind of when we were talking about meme coins a little bit earlier, this like idea of like chance versus like control, right? With meme coins, there's a lot of chance, and with kind of more DeFi, it's more control. And I think we're shifting from this chance kind of approach to crypto in general to more of this control approach, which is more business oriented. Like what am I actually doing here, right? Is my activity generating revenue? Is this a business that's generating revenue? So I think it's a healthy shift. And I think you're right. I've seen a lot of people talk about this, where it's people talking about, does the application actually make money? Does it make money for anybody? And if not, then why are we even using it? Like, we're doing it on the speculation that in the future it will make money.
I mean, exactly.
And you can see this reflected in the greater, market, like the macro market as well, right? Like they're trying to pop this inflation bubble, and to do so, you need to get people to shift away from speculative performance to like actual performance. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a safe bet to say, look, if the app's making money, get in on it, right?
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
Dividend paying stocks,
we were talking about this where we were talking about Arthur Hayes last episode, how like, I'm kind of the same, where it's like I always enjoy reading what he has to say. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's not. But there was somebody that kind of like broke down some of the stuff Arthur Hayes did in the bear market, and it was like basically all of his like big plays in the bear market were all winners, and it was because he had shifted to exactly what we're talking about. He was looking for projects that were under a certain market cap, but that were already generating positive revenue and actual revenue for their holders. And like you see GMX on there, not the powerhouse it was at the time, but if you were there for when GMX was doing its thing, it was huge. And they were kind of like one of the first out there in terms of like where we're at now with protocols, where, they were actually like generating like real yield, but also significant yield for people that were like holding and staking and stuff. So I think it's like, it kind of goes back to what we were saying about the shifts in, is there a bull market? Is there a bear market? Where it's like, maybe liquidity is king, and maybe what we're seeing here is that fees are going to be king.
Yeah, well, I think of it as like, where does the liquidity want to go? It wants to go to the place where it's going to be treated the best. And where is it treated the best? It's treated the best in the place where it's generating return through fees, right?
Yeah, and I mean, there's nowhere really better than Sonic for that. I mean, it's especially with like FEM and all that stuff. People like, for instance, the FEM dashboard went live, and they were already kind of like able to show you, you can see like some of the protocols that have already, are already generating fees from it and able to claim it. And the thing that's kind of beautiful about it is they don't tell you what you have to do with your fees, but for the most part, from what I've seen, people are at least claiming the revenue and at least using some of it to give back to holders, or, give to like staking pools or whatever. So it's going to be interesting to watch unfold, where, especially when you have like some of these really large, high volume projects, and they realize I could be making 90% of my gas back and like doing something with that revenue, whether it's, to improve your own infrastructure, or, like I said, even better, use that to further incentivize people to use your protocol, which means more fees and more volume.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're looking at the Sacras at the chart at the top here.
Yeah, and I think what we're seeing that should also be interesting is gaming. Such a pain point for blockchain gaming is gas, taxes and gas and everything. So like Sonic, you have fee abstraction, where players can basically like make their TXs and it doesn't cost them any actual gas. But then also a FEM. I mean, you could potentially, if you were Sacra, you could basically like load up your abstraction wallet with all your FEM, and you're not like ever losing any money on that.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, definitely Sonic the place to go. I think it's paying off in dividends here. This kind of thing that was not necessarily super exciting for a lot of retail minded users at the beginning. But it's just a smart business move. It's just reinvesting in the, I don't know.
Well, and I get the arguments too. Like when people were kind of, before the program really got rolling and Sonic was really rolling, there were people that were like, like, gas is so cheap. Like, what are you going to, what are people going to do? Like, they're not going to have anything to claim. But I mean, as you can see here, it does add up. I mean, Sacra with 80,000 S to claim in FEM. I mean, that's not really like I shouldn't sign up for that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I mean, even still, like you're trying to incentivize the actual value drivers, right? Which is the application creators, right? Like, so anything that can reduce like kind of the friction for deploying and trying something new out, right? It's kind of like what do you call those? Almost like when we want like what is that called? Subsidies almost. Like when you want to incentivize people to try something, like to take risks in a market, you lower interest rates, you make capital cheaper, right? It's kind of like the similar thing here going on, right? So I don't know.
I mean, you're subsidizing gas, and like I said, it can be either it can help with your pain points, or it can help boost your flywheel. So either way, it's like it has already shown here. I mean, Sakura the top earner, but I mean, as you go down the list, I mean, like I said, this is all decent. This is a decent amount of S to claim that you can do something with. Seg, who also works for Labs, I had a short video from him where I thought this was kind of like a cool thought, where what he's saying is kind of like Sonic is going to become like a creator economy, because, looking at, early models of creator content or whatever, they had to figure out how to pay people. So here, the devs can basically be like creators, you know what I mean?
Maybe, dude, we should make a live streaming platform that runs on Sonic, dude.
Percent of the gas there. So we have the 90% fee monetization system, which means that developers of apps get 90% of the gas that their applications generate back as revenue for their protocol. So you think about it like the YouTube creator economy, which is basically the usage or the interest that you're getting and the attention you're getting from users, that is directly correlated to your revenue as a protocol. So we have the 90.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like kind of like exactly what we're saying, is that if you're able to kind of like use it for like a flywheel, especially like for your revenue, if we are shifting into this era of, liquidity is what matters and revenue is what matters, more like a company, more like what their holders are receiving, then there's so many possibilities.
Yeah, dude, I'm thinking, dude, what if, dude, Sonic TV, dude, think about it.
Yeah, we need to go to those Senko guys and say, let us have it. Bring it to Sonic.
Let's have your tech, dude. Bring it to Sonic.
Yeah. No, I think it would be interesting to see what happens, because even like in a system like that, I mean, you still have TXs for tips. You have TXs for, like on Senko, at least I know, like they have like other things built into the site that, could be earning S. So, I mean, yeah, Grace says STV. Yeah, I'm with it. We need to do it.
That'd be a good idea, I think. Just the FEM alone, dude. What if that's it, dude? What if that's the entire revenue generation? Like if we just copy this exact thing that he's saying here, just turn it exactly into YouTube.
For sure. But yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much all we got for today. That was a jam-packed. We had assistant hop on, Luis hop on. But yeah, that's gonna be Fridays, man. Fridays are gonna be jam-packed every week from now on.
Yeah, we're gonna have lots of guests. It's gonna be a lot of fun, guys. So let us know what you think about the show. If you enjoyed this, anything you want to see more of, you want more Luis, let us know. You want more assistant, let us know, and I'll think about it. But yeah, great show, Drac.
Yep, good show today. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you on Tuesday. We covered Magpie today, but I think the guys from Magpie are actually popping in on Tuesday briefly to talk about their public sale and some other stuff going on. So be sure to tune in for that. And,
yeah, be sure to get your questions ready for him.
Yeah, get them on an index card. We're gonna hit them hard.
We're gonna hit them hard. We're gonna hit them fast. Adios, everybody.
GMSONIC is Corval and Dracula Presley. GM.